Alright, welcome back, boys. Polo Justice. The truth. Everything shall all finally come together at the climax that is soon to come. Welcome to court. 7 years, all leading to one verdict. A verdict which you must decide. Is the defendant Vera Misham innocent or guilty? The courtroom doors are opening. The trial awaits. Are you ready to begin? Something inside me, rising, surfacing. Something important, lost long ago. It's close now, so close. Are we like part of the jury, canonically? Us, the players? Court is now in session for the trial of Vera Misham. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution's ready to rock. Prosecutor Gavin, how is the defendant? Vera Misham's condition? Acute atrichonine poisoning, according to her physician. She could die at any time. Thus, her absence from the courtroom today. What? They can't put her on trial without her being here? It's unusual. They should wait for her to get better and do it then. It's so bureaucratic of them. That's being a little harsh. Can't delay the trial any longer. They risk having no one left to try. A trial without a verdict can only cause grief. The records of this case and experience tell us this. Apologies to the defendant, but the show must go on. Right, Vera dies, the trial will be cancelled. I'm not going to let that happen. Mr. Wright told me everything that's been going on behind the curtains all these years. I'm going to get Vera her innocent verdict while there's still time. Very well. Your opening statement, Prosecutor Gavin. The prosecution's case is unchanged by recent events. Why did Vera Misham succumb to poison? Because she couldn't live with the guilt of what she'd done. But Vera was poisoned with atrichonine, the exact same poison that took her father's life. What better confession could you ask for? Being the killer, she would have had access to the poison. Significant since it's rather hard to come by. That is true. In other words, I see no need for further discussion. We could have had our verdict yesterday. Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no objections, I see no reason to postpone a verdict. What we need to worry about isn't the verdict, but the trial itself. The defendant holds that Vera Misham is the victim, not the killer. If that's so, then you have to prove something. She was in court giving her testimony before us. Her fingernails had atrichonine in them. And since she liked biting them so much, it was inevitable. How do you propose her killer poisoned her? Oh, and incidentally, it would be nice if you told us who her mystery killer was. The prosecution's objection is sustained. I ask the defense to prove its claims to this court. Tell us how Vera Misham was poisoned. I've got two things to prove here. Who did it and how. Which to hit first. I'll go with how first. How did the killer poison Vera Misham? I'll focus first on the method used. Any comments before we begin, Prosecutor Gavin? Not a bottle or container of the poison was found on the defendant's body. I see. So the vector of poisoning is unknown. Is the defense prepared to prove how the poison reached Vera Misham? Yes, Your Honor. Very well. What method was used to poison Vera Misham? What's this? My, what a beautiful bottle! I'd like to give whoever designed that a hand. Is that nail polish? It's colorless. Ah! Something the matter? No, nothing. Nothing at all. So the killer put poison in this bottle and made her drink it? As Prosecutor Gavin has told us, this is nail polish. Nail polish? It's like paint for nails. Know any woman with red nails? Ah, my wife has red nails. I see, so she's been painting them all this time. Let's recall yesterday's trial. Remember when Vera was testifying to the court? Whenever Vera became nervous, she had a habit of biting her nails. Her nails? Ah! Prosecutor Gavin, when the prosecution had Vera examined, did they check her nails? Bailiff! Have them check the defendant's nails at once! Mr. Justice? Yes? Do you know who did this? Do you know who put poison in that nail polish? Yes. That bottle belongs to Vera Misham? Why do you ask? Know someone else who might have a bottle like this? No, just checking. Sure. Mr. Justice, you are about to accuse someone of poisoning that bottle of nail polish. Please dispense with the chatter. You realize the weight of this accusation? Here, let me show you. Understood, Your Honor. No problem. I know what I'm doing this time. Then let us ask, who poisoned Vera Misham via her nail polish? Ah, there he is. What's this? Christoph Gavin? What's your game? My bro, there's no way he could do such a thing like that. You should know that better than anyone else. Indeed. He is behind bars. I know. However, that doesn't mean it wasn't possible to do what he did. What? Ask yourselves when he put the poison in the bottle. It could have been yesterday. It could have been a month ago. Maybe it was a year ago. Or perhaps it was 7 years ago. But Christoph Gavin had no motive for killing this poor girl. It's simply inconceivable. Prosecutor Gavin doesn't seem to think so. That face tells me one thing. Christoph Gavin's own younger brother doesn't find it inconceivable at all. Well, Prosecutor Gavin, if you feel there's a clear and pressing need, then we may have to summon Christoph Gavin from jail as a special witness. Fine. I've known for some time that an impenetrable darkness lurked at the bottom of this. A darkness that has swallowed even myself. Okay, the defense's wish is granted. Let prisoner Christoph Gavin take the stand. Bailiff, begin proceedings to call a special witness. The witness is Christoph Gavin, currently residing in solitary cell 13 at Central Prison. Long time no see. Ah, Your Honor. How nice to see you again. It's been quite a while, hasn't it? To what do I owe the pleasure of your company? It's not every day I'm summoned from my solitary cell. In fact, it's never. I think you already know, Mr. Christoph Gavin. Ah, Mr. Justice. I hear you've been doing quite well for yourself. Why do I feel like somehow he stole my boss? Stiff up! Stiff upper lip, Apollo. You can do it. Does this bottle look familiar? Ariadne nail polish. Why yes, I use it myself. As did the late defendant, I hear. She's not dead yet. And was there something concerning this bottle you wish to ask me about? I admit I respect her for her taste in nail polish. Her taste indeed. This nail polish was how Veramisham was poisoned. Atroquinine, was it? You're well informed about the case, Mr. Gavin. Even in solitary, much comes to my desk, and I have nothing to do but read. Well, Clavier? Maybe you can explain this. You're being accused again. By him. Again. Ah, and? You agree with his accusation, do you? Let's hold a proper trial, shall we? Christoph Gavin, your testimony, please. I'd be delighted. The charges against you are quite severe, Mr. Gavin. You are suspected of the poisoning of the defendant, Vera Misham. Please testify on this matter to the court. Owning the same nail polish does not a murderer make. I have been in solitary confinement for half a year. How could I poison her? Her father died of the same poison, the meaning of which should be clear. The prosecution's case holds. She poisoned her father, then attempted to poison herself. Surely you aren't going to suggest I was responsible for poisoning her father too? Well, I'm afraid the defense's claim is sounding rather unlikely. Naturally. For one, I don't even know the Mishams. Isn't that so, Mr. Justice? Very well, Mr. Justice. Begin your cross-examination. Accusing Christoph Gavin, my ex-boss. But no, he poisoned the Mishams. Question is, when could he have done it? Not to mention why. Ooh. Alright, my stuff hasn't changed. It's all about finding his habits now. Tell me, is this nail polish expensive? Ariadne is a nail polish of the highest order. Not only is it fabulously expensive, but it is made in extremely limited quantities. And you and Vera just happen to both use it? That can't be a coincidence. I'm guessing it's not a coincidence. Huh? It's simple. Ariadne is the best nail polish one can buy, correct? Then if one wanted the best nail polish, one would buy it. That makes sense. Why, it's a bit like my feelings toward my brand name Gavel here. And my silk top hat. Are we all done showing off our refined tastes? Please, continue with your tasteful testimony. Can't you still make contact with the outside world in solitary? Ah, so he had an accomplice on the outside. Is this your latest accusation? I am allowed a certain modicum of letter writing. But the contents of those letters are closely checked. It would be extremely difficult to send a hit request. Prosecutor Gavin's on the warpath, isn't he? Yeah? You think so too, Trucy? I bet I know why. He must be nervous with a big brother watching. And maybe that's a weakness I can turn to my advantage. Are we cool with that? May I continue? No, it's not. The defendant is not dead yet. There are no known cases of someone surviving atroquinine poisoning. You seem to know a lot about atroquinine. You sure love doing that. I know a lot about a lot of things. Which is why I suggest we pick up the pace. Or else you'll be the short one, defendant, for what she's worth. The witness will refrain from speaking ill of the ill. My apologies. Shall I continue? Vera had no reason to want to commit suicide. And also, who would commit suicide by doing their nails? The answer's quite simple, basically. Allow me to explain. beginning with why did she do it? The answer is quite simple. She couldn't live with her own guilt. Next, why did she use nail polish to poison herself? This too is simple. So she could die doing something that she liked. Something that she liked? Once she saw that the trial wasn't going her way, she knew she would die. And it's not easy to bring poison into a courtroom. Must I explain further? I believe that's clear enough. Crystal clear. Wow, the true brothers together is like a two-man wrecking team. They could use a little more teamwork though. Yes, I am. Both Vera and Mr. Misham were poisoned with atroquinine. That really can't be a coincidence. The defense is repeating fallacious statements based on conjecture. The prosecution requests concrete, unambiguous proof of the witness's crime. Objection sustained. The defense will please present concrete proof. Does Prosecutor Gavin seem strange to you too? It's like he's all grown up. I think that's how prosecutors are supposed to be actually. But he is acting different than usual. I'll bet it has a lot to do with his brother Kristoff being in the room. Well, let's make this testimony count, Apollo. Right, quick and painless. My bracelet should do the trick. Okay, I'm questioning my ex-boss. His testimony seems watertight, but he's lying. I'm sure I'll be able to see something, as long as I focus. Whoa, where did that come from? What the fuck?
Gotcha!
It was you who killed Drew Misham. A bluff worthy of your new mentor, Mr. Wright. Oh really? You see, I saw it. Right when you said her father too. Your hand tensed unnaturally and the little devil appeared to give me the news. And let's assume for the sake of argument that you saw me being tense. What does that mean? Are all tense witnesses guilty? And tell me, was Drew Misham fond of nail polish too? Sorry, but there's more than one way to poison a man. You don't need nail polish to get it to someone's mouth. Ah. Then I must be very talented indeed. You see, Drew Misham was killed on October 6, while I was already in my solitary confinement cell at Central Prison. If that's not an alibi, then I don't know what is. But you found a way all the same. And I found it too. This is how you poisoned Mr. Misham! Or I have the yellow envelope. Nope. Alright, where is that stamp? Or red envelope, maybe? Alright, maybe there's something else I'm supposed to put. There we go. I'm sure this commemorative stamp requires no introduction. The night Mr. Misham died, he was seen writing a letter. Atraco 9 was found on this stamp, Mr. Gavin. So am I to understand the stamp was the murder weapon? Yes, you are. Oh, and yes. The stamp was found in your prison cell. That is all, Your Honor. Alright, I'm gonna have to pause and check something downstairs real quick. Alright, I'm back. I got some cup noodles. And I ate them. And now I'm back. It's 16:42, so do your math, kids. Order! 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 Poison on the back of that stamp? After Drew Misham was killed, someone paid a visit to this witness's cell. Phoenix Wright. Daddy? That's when he found the stamp. You made Drew Misham write you a letter. That's how you killed him. What? My. You've upset my poor brother to the point of uselessness. Allow me to clarify this matter, Justice. All you need to do is recall witness Spark Brushell's testimony. He was looking for a stamp. Ergo, he had no intention of using this stamp. What are you getting at? What I'm arriving at is that this commemorative stamp was in a frame. It was mere coincidence that he used it that night. That would seem to be the case. Or perhaps you mean to suggest that I can somehow manipulate coincidence. Yeah, you have a stand ability. He does have a point. How would this witness know if the victim was going to use that stamp? Without that, he couldn't have planned the murder. What? Really, Clavier, you should be seeing through these weak-spined bluffs by now. He's right, though. How could anyone have known Mr. Misham would use that stamp that night? At least the Falkrest of Gavin's locked away in a cell. Well, it seems that the defense has run out of things to say. You assumed he had something to say in the first place. I believe the defense's bluff has been called. The defense's bluff? I'm not sure I agree with you there, Christophe Clavier. Honestly, I wanted to believe you, but the defense wasn't trying to get away with a bluff. You were, Christophe. You were, Christophe. I mean, what are you saying? Prosecutor Gavin! Her forehead. What was your accusation again? Huh? Oh, it was that? This poisoned stamp killed Drew Misham, ja? To which my brother responded thusly. There was no way to know when Misham would use the stamp. Yes, that's right. Which is why it couldn't have been planned. Wait, yes it could have been planned. Oh my god, I fell for it as well. Tell me, it needs to be planned. Why? Why couldn't it have been a coincidence? The defense's case is simply that Drew Misham died by that stamp. That's all. Coincidence. Christophe, you tried to slip out from under his accusation by changing the subject. That's not bluffing, what is it? What are you up to, Clavier? I could ask you the same question, Christophe. Heh. I silenced the defense with the fewest words possible. It's called efficiency. But Mr. Gavin, that's impermissible testimony. Very well, I shall take his claim head on then. Justice. What? You accuse me of Drew Misham's murder, yes? Then, allow me to ask you, what possible reason could I have to kill a painter? A polo motive! He's talking about a motive. Indeed. It's hard to see how an attorney could come to want to kill a painter. Now here's something. Why didn't he bring up the motive from the very beginning? Unless he was afraid it was a battle he might lose. So what does it mean? It means there might be a weak spot. Maybe I have some evidence to prove a motive. A motive for murder. This is vital, if not the most vital element in this case. Please consider this when making your statement. I'd say it's about this vital. That's pretty vital. Well, Mr. Justice, I'm through with this no matter what. Understood, Your Honor. I'd like to present evidence. And let's see what you have for us. What reason did Christoph Gavin have for wanting to murder Drew Misham? Well, shit. Er... Can't I read what's inside it? Shit. I don't know! Do I have evidence for his motive? Bravo, Justice. You sucked. Shit. Drew Misham had another business besides painting. Add a lawyer to that, and the puzzle is complete. Wait! Of course, it's fucking obvious. Christoph Gavin's motive becomes clear when we consider why the stamp came to Drew Misham's studio in the first place. And why was that? Forgery, Your Honor. Go back 7 years. Drew Misham accepts his first job creating forged evidence. I've seen that before. A page from a diary, wasn't it? Magnifique Gramarie's diary. Ah, when attorney Phoenix Wright lost his badge, yes. This was the evidence he presented to his loss. This evidence is a fake, yes. But did Mr. Wright request the forgery be made? That was never proven. The defense attorney on that case was Phoenix Wright. Who other than him, drunk with the prospect of victory, could have done it? And why would they? Just out of curiosity, do you remember this letter? This is the first page. And this is the second. Those were presented in court yesterday. This letter was sent to Drew Misham by the client who requested that forgery. The enclosed stamp was none other than the poison commemorative stamp. Drew Misham drew his last breath just the other day. However, the motive for his murder was already 7 years ago. 7 years old? The client who requested this forgery was very cautious. He tried to erase anything and anyone with connections to the forgery, to keep them from talking. But he made a mistake. The killer's time bomb was delayed. The poison stamp was sealed within a glass frame, where it sat for 7 whole years. I don't follow. Her forehead. Do you understand what you're telling us? The one who schemed up the forged your diary page was the one who poisoned the stamp. And it was Phoenix Wright who presented the forged evidence 7 years ago. Adding the two statements together, the one who schemed to kill Drew Misham was none other than Phoenix Wright. Sorry, but that's not how this is going to go down. Oh, and how will it go down? I checked through the records on that case when I found this 7 years ago, just before the trial began. And one more thing. His previous attorney was Gavin! Oh my god! Phoenix Wright was put on the case the day before the trial started. He didn't have time to request a forgery. The day before? Now here's a question. Who was Shady Enigmar's previous defense attorney? No, this can't all be. But it is all true. There was another man, a defense attorney with a badge in his collar. It was you, Christoph Gavin! Order! 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 What is the meaning of this witness? I mean defendant or former lawyer. Let me begin by denying this. It's easy enough to look up, Mr. Gavin. And impossible to prove if you can't. Attorneys are registered with the court the day before the trial begins. In other words, no record remains in the court. How exactly did you intend to prove Phoenix Wright's claim? That would be difficult. I'm afraid this line of inquiry won't yield. Her forehead. Are you sure you don't have evidence? What's wrong with Prosecutor Gavin? He looks clammy. Evidence! Evidence that shows this man Christoph Gavin requested that forgery 7 years ago. Lavieux, just prove it! Clear up these doubts now or I swear I'm off this case. You must have thought of some evidence, Apollo. Prosecutor Gavin looks like he's in physical pain. That darkness. I have to pull that darkness out of him and proof is the only way I can. Prove Christoph Gavin's link to Drew Misham. Well, Mr. Justice, you claim Christoph Gavin requested a forgery of Drew Misham 7 years ago. Prove it. Can be proven. Simply ridiculous. Why even discuss it? This evidence does not... Are you telling the truth, Apollo, Justice? I am. Then I say we give him the benefit of the doubt. Very well, but if you're wrong about this, be prepared for a penalty. Your Honor, you do the defense an injustice. Mr. Justice is clearly passionate about his claim. Should the penalty not match his passion? I can't go low, no matter how high your penalty is, I can't see it anymore. Well, Mr. Justice. Fine, Your Honor. I assume it's like 6 or something. 5 or 6. Maybe even 8. Fine, Your Honor. Or how about 9? All I have to prove is any kind of link. Something that ties Christoph Gavin to Drew Misham. And I have something that clearly does the job. Show us the link between our witness and Drew Misham. This evidence proves there's a link. That scrap of paper? I'm afraid I can't let you submit that. Is there some problem? There is. How could you possibly have that? You couldn't. Hey, that's Daddy's handwriting. Mr. Wright's handwriting? What is the meaning of this? Ah, I see now. Yes, of course. What do you mean, of course? I just remembered that I had a visitor yesterday. Phoenix Wright came to my cell, except I wasn't there. Phoenix Wright? When I returned, I saw he had something of mine in his possession. Of course, I had no intention of letting him get away with reading my private mail. Mail? You mean this letter was in your cell? No. However, it appears Mr. Wright has yet to be cured of his bad forging habit. Well, if it's a forgery, it's not a very good one. The handwriting's terrible. This is Mr. Wright's reproduction of what was written in the real letter. Reproduction? When Mr. Wright visited Christoph Gavin's cell, he brought with him a small video camera. What? He recorded this entire conversation with you, Mr. Gavin, and the contents of your personal mail. Regardless, this mockery of a piece of evidence will never be accepted by the court. Evidence based on a video a man with no authority whatsoever claims he took. A man who happens to be an ex-attorney is suspected of forgery. Prosecutor Gavin? Prosecutor Gavin? As embarrassing as this is for me to say, I'm afraid my brother is incapable of making rational judgments at the moment. Your Honor, your decision, please. The defense's claim is denied. What? Only actual evidence is permitted in a court of law. Please remove the defense's evidence from the record. Better luck next time, Justice. Well, we've certainly taken a detour from our cross-examination, but the defense appears to be lacking proof. I'm forced to end the cross-examination of Christoph Gavin at this point. Apollo, do something! I'm thinking, but without evidence, I don't have anything I can use on him. Very well. This ends this special witness's cross-examination. The show's over, yet the crowd screams for more. Only now do I understand why. Prosecutor Gavin? Frankly, I'm relieved. This has been bothering me for 7 whole years. And I'm tired of the whole youthful angst scene. Now's our chance. Let's clean out the family closet, eh, Christoph? Javier, you're spinning out of control. Calm yourself before you say something you'll regret. Spinning out of whose control? Mine or yours? Take a moment to consider everything you've built. Your reputation as a prosecutor, your fame with the masses. You could lose it all, Clavier. Apollo, did you see that? He's trying to press Prosecutor Gavin. Prosecutor Gavin, try to remember what's really important to you. You amuse me, her forehead. I can forget what's really important to me even if I tried. The truth! In fact, I haven't. Not even once. 7 years ago. I'm familiar with the trial. I've watched the video several times. Did you find anything unnatural about it? Unnatural? Well, you did seem unusually well prepared. I mean, Mr. Wright had only just presented his evidence. And the next moment you call in Drew Misham. It was almost as if... Almost as if what? Yep. Funny, did it even occur to me to wonder? Now that I do, I see there's only one possible explanation. Yep, I kind of figured it out the moment it happened. I just kept quiet because I was too busy saying the voice lines. That and I rarely ever actually do talk, don't I, in my Let's Plays? Almost as if from the very beginning, you knew Mr. Wright was going to present that evidence. Ah, correct. I knew that if I applied the usual pressure, Phoenix Wright would eventually come up with that forged diary page. Don't do this, Clavier. I knew because you told me, Kristoff. What? It was the night before the trial. Clavier. Kristoff? Odd seeing you at the prosecutor's office the day before the trial. I won't be appearing in the trial, actually. Huh? Why not? I'll be facing off with you on your first trial, apparently. And in exchange, I bought information. Information? The attorney who will be there in my place tomorrow is not to be trusted. Don't even give him the benefit of your respect. Listen, I want you to call in a special witness. Then... I wondered about it at the time. How did Kristoff know so much? Prosecutor Gavin. Kristoff, we were supposed to face each other in that trial. Fair fight, brother to brother. I deserved that much. You let me borrow the victim's belongings. You showed me all your research on the case. The victim's belongings? It would have included Magnifie's diary, wouldn't it? Mr. Gavin? My, Clavier, you disappoint me. You find trees, yet miss the forest. You're the one missing the forest, Mr. Gavin. You can't sweep this under the rug. Not anymore. Tell me what was going on behind that trial. Why not? I've achieved what I came here to do. I see no harm in a little reminiscing. Polo. I think we're finally going to shine a light on that black belly of this thing, Trucy. We've done everything we could. I hope it's enough. 7 years ago, the day before the trial, I visited the detention center at the request of my client, Zach Gramarye. To be honest, I don't know what his reasons were to this day. As far as I could tell, he dismissed me as his representation because I lost in a game of poker. I can come to no other conclusion. Daddy used to say something. If you want to know a man, you have to compete. Zach wasn't watching his points or the cards. He was watching the man behind the cards, Kristoff Gavin. I couldn't believe it. Phoenix Wright, a second-rate attorney who relies on luck and bluffs. He dismissed me and went with that pitiful excuse for a man. He deserved to die for that error alone. Hold it. So the one who requested that forgery was... Oh, I'm not admitting to anything. My point is, these two men shamed me, and I could not forgive that. Phoenix Wright and Zach Gramarye both got what they deserved. So you asked Mr. Misham to forge that evidence so you could win. But then when you were dismissed as Zach Gramarye's attorney, you used your forged evidence as a trap. You fed me information about the forgery you made. Then you gave your dirty evidence to him. You're free to imagine what you will. My point is that all I had imagined came to pass. Everything went perfectly. Ha. Incredible. If I wasn't laughing, I'd weep. Prosecutor Gavin? Perfectly. You're mad, Kristoff. Stop fooling yourself. What are you talking about, Clavier? Tell me, how did that trial end? Cancelled, when the defendant vanished. Ah, I get it. So, Kristoff, you've been living in fear for 7 years. What? You were afraid your forgery would be revealed and your reputation trashed. You couldn't leave things to chance, so you watched everyone involved with the case for 7 years. Wait just a minute! Zach Gremery was seen by this reporter? How is that possible? Was he alive after being gone 7 years? Finally, I knew this moment was coming. Just didn't think we'd go here so fast. Me neither. Zach Gremery gone missing for 7 years. Trucy's father. What's wrong, Apollo? Go get him! Right. Leave it to me. Allow me to refresh the court's memory. 6 months ago, Christoph Gavin was charged with murdering a mysterious traveler. I remember him quite well. Shady Smith, was it? Poisoned in a Chinese restaurant. Tragic. It wasn't Chinese. The details don't really matter right now. What matters is that traveler was Zach Gremery. What is it, Apollo? Huh? Keep going. We'll talk about it later. Bruh. Someone please explain this. Mr. Justice, can you explain this? It all started 7 years ago. The great magician Magnifique Gremery's death started it. Magnifique Gremery's death and his student Zach Gremery, the suspect. Whoever defended Zach in court successfully would be famous beyond belief. Thinking that, Christoph Gavin did the unthinkable. He forged evidence. Drew Misham? Actually, it was his daughter, Vera, who really did the work. You took precautions when you had that forgery made, didn't you, Mr. Gavin? Precautions? To keep people from talking, of course. These two know too much. Leave them alive and there'll be nothing but trouble. That's when you planned your poisoning of the forgers. Atroquinine. Applied to a commemorative stamp. But luck was on Mr. Misham's side. The bomb didn't go off. His daughter. She saved him by taking the stamp. I see. That wasn't the only bomb he set up. The Ariadne nail polish. Of course. You notice something when you requested that forgery. When Vera Misham is nervous, she has a bad habit. A tendency to bite her nails. It's remained with her even all this time. I used to have that habit. Did you know? That nail polish was her good luck charm. It's really weird that people bite their nails like that. The way I bite my nails is quite different. It looks real creepy and painful to do it that way. Sends me chills. Gets me real worried for my own nails. So much nail horror I've seen in my days. The nail polish was her good luck charm. So when she went to the frickin' thingy, right? They never tested it for fucking poisoning. They just gave it to her so she would shut up. That kind of bad work on the police side when detaining Vera. But then again, maybe that was for the best, since they did scan it for atroquinine. They probably would have thought immediately. Without any need for a trial, and without a doubt it was Vera who did her father in. It was his insurance. Insurance? As long as she lived quietly at home, there was no danger to her. But what if she had to go outside? If she ran into any trouble, she'd become nervous. And the nail polish would do the rest. This time bomb sat there for 7 years. And then they went off almost simultaneously. If you're finished, I still can't believe it didn't turn out. It turned out that this guy was a good guy all along. I was always so suspicious of him. May I return to my cell now? I'm not accustomed to standing for such long periods of time. Mr. Gavin, have you heard a single thing we've said? Oh, I listened quite closely to your little tale. Quite an entertaining piece of fiction. What? Clavier, surely you understand. We're back to the evidence. The lacking evidence. Nothing proves a link between him and the Actriconine that took Drew Misham's life. What about the restaurant? You killed Zach Gramery to keep him from talking. I killed no man of that name. Read over the report again if you like. The victim was a traveler by the name of Shady Smith, about whom we know little else. You can't seriously think I knew he was that particular fugitive. Okay, then why did you kill him? I plead my right to remain silent. Remember, this court did not convene to put me on trial. The defendant's name is Vera Misham, suspected in the murder of her father. My trial's been finished for 6 months now.
I'm afraid we have strayed considerably from our purpose here. This court concurs with the witness. It is defendant Vermisha who is in trial here.
No, but you were doing so good, Apollo.
As long as there is no evidence to support the accusation against him, this course of inquiry cannot find Vera Misham innocent.
Your Honor, Phoenix Wright spent 7 years collecting this evidence. You still don't get it, do you? Let us assume there was poison on the nail polish. Who then was responsible for causing Vera Misham to bite her nails? What? It wasn't me, I know that much. The one who brought that poison to her lips was you.
What?
What? Evidence is everything. There's nothing more.
I believe this discussion has reached its conclusion.
Your Honor!
Mr. Justice, you have performed admirably well for a novice attorney. I respect your partner, Phoenix Wright's determination as well. However,
without direct proof, you have nothing. Isn't that right, Clavier?
Unfortunately, yes, Kristoff,
you're right. That is, you would have been right until now. What? Did the news not reach your desk in solitary? The eyes of the nation are on this courtroom today. This is the trial case for a new judicial system. That's right. I'd totally forgotten. The jurist system.
Jurist, you say? The current judicial system has been deemed too closed off from society. This new system attempts to inject the wisdom of common citizens into the law.
Common citizens? Wisdom? Some kind of a joke. What can we possibly gain by doing this? Entrusting our judicial system to a mindless emotional mob of irrational mouth breathers?
Common citizens have something called common sense. Common sense is not restricted by the law.
Nonsense! There's only room for two in this court. Me and the law. Keep the riffraff out, I say! They're not in the court, actually. They're watching everything by video camera. Oh, look at that.
How can you allow this?
Incidentally, the one responsible for making this happen was Phoenix Wright.
Phoenix Wright?
So, everything was leading to this, of course. Right. can't accept this. This is no court. I'm giving him the other Akechi voice now rather than the Detective Prince Akechi voice. Law! The law is everything! Law is absolute! You'd let ignorant swine soil your courts? Kristoff, it's over. Clavier! The law is absolute. You can't be serious. Justice is blind. What? Odd. I thought you spent your life looking for loopholes. The law isn't absolute. It's filled with contradictions. The law is the end product of many years of history, the fruit of human knowledge, like a gem polished to a gleam through trials and errors. It is this fruit we receive and pass on and face in our time. And it is always changing, growing, nurturing. It is our task as human beings. Nurturing it is our task as human beings. Except for you, Kristoff. You aren't changing. You've stopped. You're not needed anymore. Wow, doing a catchy voice hurts my throat. Can't think of anything to say. Maybe because I still haven't seen enough. But someday I'll know what law is, and I'll fight to change it if I have to. I see no need to further prolong this trial. This began as the trial of Vera Misham, accused of murdering her father. The painter Drew Misham, however. Several other incidents were reviewed and we seem to have reached a conclusion. Before this court declares a verdict, I await your decision, jurists of the court. For the death of Drew Misham, how do you find the defendant, Vera Misham? Innocent or guilty? I turn to you now to consider this matter. I feel like this is important. I'm gonna save. This ends the trial for this case. Only the verdict remains to be decided. Defendant Vera Misham is currently in intensive care. The decision cannot be reached today. May never be reached. The factors involved are simple. Did the defendant poison her father that night? If so, she is guilty. Or was there another reason for Mr. Misham's death? Did another person poison him? If so, she is innocent. A panel has been provided for each of you to input your decisions. That is all. Please wait! Yes, jurist number 6? There's something in the jurist handbook here. Persons involved with the case may not be jurists. That is correct. I've looked into all your dossiers. None of you were involved with the development of the case. With the development of the case? I see. Does that answer your concern? It's time for your verdicts. Make your decision in the case against Vera Misham. After 7 years, the truth is ready to be heard. Judge wisely, judge well. Who's jury number 6? Wait, who the hell is this guy? Or girl, for that matter? Huh? Are we playing as goddamn her right now? The siren? There's only one person I know that wears a hood. Or wait. Is this Trucy's mother? Nope. Yep. What? What? Whoa! Whoa! I was correct with both! And so a verdict was reached on October 9. 2:14 p.m. The first verdict under the juris system. Innocent by unanimous decision. The record will show that when the verdict was announced, special witness Christoph Gavin laughed. A laugh louder than any ever heard before or since. I'd imagine it's just like a catchy laugh or something, you know, the whole mad laugh of something like that. A laugh that echoed in the halls of justice, lingering for what seemed like hours. October 10, 8:30 a.m., the morning after the trial. In an intensive care ward, a true miracle occurred. Vera Misham opened her eyes. Blind? No, not here. Oh, he must be good. At the very least, albeit creepy. He never showed up in the anime, actually. Me and Mom watched the Phoenix Wright anime. He shows up in the third game, doesn't he? Yeah. They don't show a lot of characters in the anime. Vera! I'm so glad. Don't cry, Apollo. I'm happy too, and proud. You did well, Apollo. When I thought about what if Vera, Hey now, don't you start crying too! Sorry you had to see us like this. Vera? Thank you so much. Apollo, thank you. No, I'm sorry. Shouldn't have pressed you like that. If I hadn't, you never would have bitten your nails. No, I was wrong. Staying locked inside like that, clinging to my good luck charm. Vera. When I opened my eyes and saw you, I finally understood. It's important to be a part of the world. To see things with your own eyes. Looks like that poison had some effect after all. Dude, with the ability to see details that clearly, she can make the best lifelike paintings in the world. She'd be famous and rich for that. Screw forged evidence. Killed off whatever was holding Vera back from life. Okay, so that pretty much confirms my theory. Drew Misham. Vera is the daughter of Drew, as well as Trucy's quote-unquote late mother. I was right. And as it turns out, our beautiful siren, Lamiroir, who was blind, upon getting her eye surgery back, finally recovered her memories of who she really was. She's a Grammary. Bruh. And now she's a painter and a singer. Killed off whatever was holding Vera back from life. I knew you'd pull through, Vera. I mean, that's what Apollo was fighting for the whole time. Your future. I won't forget it. Here, let me thank you. No, really, it's okay. Oh, look, it's me! I love it. Thanks. Is that me? She really captured your essence, Apollo. Well, I think so at least. That reminds me. Do you know where the other lawyer is? The other lawyer? Oh, you mean Daddy. Except he's not a lawyer anymore. It's my fault, isn't it? I'm sorry. Oh, no. That's not what I meant. No, it's okay. I'm through looking away from things I've done. I hope I can look him in the eye again someday and apologize. I'm sure he'd be happy to hear that. He brought all those things for me when he came to visit earlier. You mean that stack of videos? Mr. Wright finished watching them all? Okay. No, no! Why would you give him the grape juice, quote unquote, as well? I guess now she's a steel samurai addict. You know, I knew my real daddy was alive. Huh? I was there 7 years ago, remember? I was the one who helped him vanish from the courtroom. You did what? Now how? I'm not telling. He promised me that day he went away.
We may not meet again for a while, Trucy, but know this, I will be watching, and one day I shall return. You're the next Gramarye after all.
Oh, Trucy. In the end, he couldn't keep that promise, could he? It's okay. Phoenix is my daddy now, even if he can't really play the piano.
That he can't.
Oh, and I've got you too, even if your voice is kinda loud sometimes.
Glad I made your list.
Hey, come to think of it, where is Daddy? The one who can't play. You know, Apollo?
I think he said he had to meet someone.
I wonder.
Trucy! This guy is your goddamn brother. Estranged. And so is Vera. Well, your sister. Again, estranged. It's one messed up family. Why, I'd wager it's even more messed up than the alternate universe Joestar family, the Higashikata.
Maybe it's a new mommy. Oh, Trucy. Yes, Vera? I was wondering, could you show him to me once more? Sir Hat, was it? Oh, he's not been knighted yet. Here goes, do us an impersonation, Mr. Hat.
Objection! Ahem. Not loud enough, and I like Miss Magic underwear better anyway.
That's magic panties, Apollo.
It's a happy end. So, your memories returned. Mr. Wright, was this all a part of your plan too? I don't know what you're talking about.
When I lost my memory, I was reborn as Lamira.
Yep, here we go. Just in case we needed more confirmation.
But you knew my true identity, did you not? That is why you chose me as one of your jurists.
Ah, you're thinking into it too much. Besides, there was no guarantee that regaining your memory would make you happy.
Of course, it is a happy thing. For so long, I thought I was alone. But now I know I have children. 2 dear children. I'm so proud of them. This too, I think, is thanks to you.
No, wait, then... Is she denying Varys her child? Well, that's not good. That means my theory could potentially be wrong. But I'd like to think it's true. It's my headcanon still. That's a good explanation as to why. She has like an she trained her ability to become different instead. To be used for painting rather than telling habits. You know, are you going to tell them?
They do not know?
Nope. They don't know their mother. They don't even know their siblings.
I will go to them when the time is right. Until then,
Bullshit! Don't worry. I'll take care of them for you. They're very important to me too. A little annoying at times, but still. I have to keep an eye on her at least. Because I'm the only one who knows who she really feels on the inside. Your bracelet.
yes.
I've seen a lot of mysterious things these past 7 years. Your bracelets were the strangest of all. It was? Fucking Spirits and Iris and Dahlia were not? I remember meeting him, half a year ago now, in Christoph Gavin's office.
And then I met you. Two fates destined to intertwine. And I was there when they crossed. I'll never forget that. Such a small thing. That bullet. Yet it tore who I was away. Ah, she was blinded from that 10 years ago, during a simple rehearsal. It was a miracle no one died, but I didn't survive that accident. That is why I left the troupe, my family. Now my memory has returned. I am myself once more. For the first time, I am glad to be alive, Mr. Wright. Speaking of miracles, Vera Misham regained consciousness this morning. I can only hope she's as glad as you are. It is a strange thing, fate. Sometimes a life is taken, sometimes a life is spared. You know what I've been thinking? People don't die that easily, really, as long as they've got something worth living for. And that's pretty much the end of my story. For now, anyway. I've still got a long way to go, and this power of mine, well, it needs some work. There's hope now. We'd lost it, but somehow we found it again. That's why people are smiling again. Hope. Yeah, I think I'll keep at this lawyer thing for a while. Oops, training time. Gotta go. Courts of Steel, here comes justice! What a fucking fantastic game. I'm glad you're staying with the agency, Apollo. It's like I've found my long-lost big little brother. Oh, and don't you worry about Troupe Gramarye. Trucy's on the case. Now that I have this, thanks to Daddy. Trucy Gramarye. Frankly, I got my doubts, but Hat Gramarye, now that'll pack him in. Okay, so it seems there's still some post-credit stuff happening. It's not every day you get a trial that rocks harder than one of your gigs, Ja. That's why it's over. Gaviners are breaking up. The news caused a run on tissues at supermarkets nationwide. You're the real stars now. I look forward to our next jam session. Ah, he's going full-time attorney now. Very sad. It was a good 7 years maybe, at least. Alright, a problem I do have is everything, well, it's finally over, you know, thinking about it. I've been a piano player longer than I was a lawyer. Now that everything's sorted and I've got time on my hands, maybe I'll take some lessons. Or maybe I'll take the bar exam. Again. Well, we can guess what he did. Although it took us until 2016 to find that out, I guess. So, I was standing around eating snackoos the other day when I got this crazy idea. What if they were golden? You could augment the crunch, or better yet, make them ding! Ah, the power of science! Although the preservatives might not be 100% safe. No shit, Sherlock! Chie, meaning wisdom. In unlikely event you are wanting Russian feast, come to Borscht Bowl Club. The only thing colder than restaurant is borscht. Da, but if greater challenge is being required, then come to the hideout. You know who to ask for. So, Kentucky Pastries is getting back to its Eastern roots, spreaded culture and all. Yo, boss, culture time! This is how we write root, capiche? But we're still about giving back to the people. Yo, boss, PR time!
This is how we write people, alright? Not that Walkie is paying attention. Oh, kids. I'm supposed to be giving my critique since that's how I usually do things. Bizarre Chinese characters on cake was a fly idea like 3,000 years ago, believe that. Man, you wanna make it today, you gotta keep it real, you know what I'm saying? Yo, that's why I made the OG cracker, for real. I know I don't look like no cracker, gee what, you want me to call it the OG muffin? This and Under Lilies, I think I'm starting to stop that path of this tradition of doing reviews in the end. Oops. I don't know where all this talk about food is coming from. If you ask me, there's only one food and that's noodles. Noodles forever. I got a new one too. See, this time, I just put a big chunk of salt in the bowl. What? Why pretend Eldoon's noodle to sub out the salt? Salt forever! My exceptionally inquisitive nature has won me an unequivocal adoration in the department. You see, they used to call me Wesley Stinker, and now Wesley Sticky Hands. But no longer. I have a new name, one that reflects my true academic nature. Wesley Sick. Yes, curiosity is a sickness, and I am the. Oh no! I don't know how to thank you for all you've done. Life has returned to my life and with it joy. I may have lost years, but I have gained a treasure. 2 treasures, in fact. I will think of them when I write my next song. They made a new sprite for her just for this one scene. Brushel! Brushel here, back on the beat with another interview. How do you feel about how things turned out? No scoop yet, but journalist confidence in mint condition. End quote. End quote! I've decided to keep painting. Originals only, of course. I suppose I'll have to see a bit of the world outside to find what to paint. But I know there are good people out there now. I've met them. Oh, speaking of her paintings, unresolved plot points! The door is open. The world is waiting. Thank you. There are a fuck ton of those here in this game. Misham. Her signature's different now. Yeah, lifelike paintings. Alright. And that just about settles it for Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney. What a wild ride it has been, and thank you all very much for watching it. I'm not sure. The 5th game in the series chronologically, I'm pretty sure in terms of release date, is supposed to be Miles Edgeworth Investigations. It did get a sequel as well, but apparently it's still not in the West to this day. And I'm not sure about the other remaining games because I don't have a 3DS. Nor do I have a capture card. Well, I do have a 3DS, but I don't know. I don't have a capture card, and recording for DS is already hard enough with emulators. Like, can you imagine me trying to do that? Like, if I can somehow, someday, maybe
I don't know. For now, I am quite happy. I enjoyed these entire games. Now for a review of Apollo Justice and the entire series so far. So, Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney series, very good, very great. If I were to compare it to JoJo, I would say the first game is a lot like the first three parts, you know? They're classics in their own right. Not really as skippable as part one, I'd say. And then again, why the fuck would you skip part one? You fucking fuck! And they start off something really great. The first game, though, especially the one on the DS, the trilogy remaster doesn't really do anything about it. I mean, not much you can really do. They are still in the end visual novels, so it's much more on the story when it comes to me reviewing things rather than the game itself. Since visual novels don't contain that much gameplay, and any gameplay that's shoehorned in, yeah, shoehorned in. Those fucking minigames. A lot of people like making fun of them. I didn't mind them, but goddamn, if I could like make a comparison, I'd compare it to the minigames that you sometimes get to do, the minigame puzzles in in another DS point and click adventure game, Tracer's Memories. Man, I really should replay that game someday again. Damn, I did make a let's play of it, but I already erased all the footage and stuff. It was a shitty let's play anyway, and I couldn't get the good ending because I was an idiot. But what's another replay and another re-record of that? I was going to ask, what do you guys think? Should I play it? You guys want to see me play it? But literally no one knows that game, and no one watches my videos anyway as well. I'm on a tangent now. Again, comparison, story-wise, gameplay-wise. I'll get to the gameplay. The second game is like parts 4, 5, and 6. A little rough around the edges, but overall great improvements. And then the third game, I'd say, is like Steel Ball Run, part 7. Very good and solid. Still has its flaws, but overall, like, really great and all that jazz. Apollo Justice, however, I'd say it's like JoJo Julian. It drags on. It's very long. It's great, but damn is it goddamn confusing and divisive. Divisive in the sense that, you know, you play as someone else that isn't Phoenix Wright anymore. That's certainly a turn off. A lot of people generally don't like it when characters and cast change. And frick, I was gonna say something else alongside that. Yeah, I was a part of that. Especially since it's been 3 games now, we've always just associated the Ace Attorney series with Phoenix. And then just to see them suddenly change it back feels weird. I do like, it is pretty cool seeing an older and new Phoenix Wright, and yeah, that was pretty great. Something I'd have to critique on the story though. First though, actually, maybe I guess I'll start with the good things. So, the third episodes, a lot of people like to talk about this as well, but in the original trilogy, the third episodes, generally people considered them really, really bad. Like, they called it the third episode curse. Apollo Justice, though, its third episode, pretty darn good. All the episodes were pretty good. A general theme was established right from the get-go. Fate, as well as connections. That's like a big recurring theme, and I like that. The first 3 games, while they did have good stories, a theme hardly tied every story together all that well. I did like the lack of theme. Every episode was like its own thing. That was pretty cool. Rarely, it made it realistic. Not that that's ever really much of a critique. Whether something is realistic or not is not something I care about, be it from a video game or whatever else other work of fiction. If it's good, it's good. Realism doesn't immediately make your thing good. But yeah, I liked it. It meant that once you're done with the episode, you can focus on the next. It's fun while it's fun to see and coincidence like that happen. The kind of coincidence that happens here is quite unrealistic. You know how fate it's established very well in here. It's kind of shoehorned real hardly and turnabout corner. But yeah, the fact that they're all connected is really cool and stuff. I can see now why a lot of people really love Apollo Justice. But the fact that they're all connected as well is sort of, and forgive me if this sounds like a nitpick, maybe it is. But I really don't like it. People always have this tendency to think, and they like it when stories and stuff are connected, when there's loops and they all come full circle. People like that. I personally don't. Like I said, I enjoyed the fact that the original trilogy rarely had that much connection between each cases. Each case was sort of its own thing, and realistically, you know, that is how being a lawyer should be. Rarely are you ever actually gonna get multiple clients who are all somehow with and every case you take somehow all end up somehow being all related and connected to each other. Hmm. But yeah, other than that, solid stories. There were some fairly hateable characters here, but overall, they're all quite charming in their own way, I'd say. In terms of the gameplay, God, the investigations. Oh my God. That's sort of a big problem. It hasn't been remedied here either, I'd say. Uh, Solving the mysteries and stuff. I mean, yeah, the game is quite difficult, but at other times it's infuriating for the wrong reasons. I already mentioned this, but the minigames. In Tracer's memory, the minigames were intentionally made to take so goddamn long to pad out game time. In here, I thought they were gonna be used a lot and stuff, because like episode 5 was all like I thought was supposed to be some sort of teaser, since the next game, Apollo Justice, was gonna have more of that instead of just being in this one episode in the first game. But in here, it happens every now and then, and every time it happens, it's like different, and they feel so pointless. And the 3D thing, it came up once and became somewhat important in here. Rarely do you actually have a reason. Those 3D models, they were pointless for the most part. Like, yeah. And the mechanic with the bracelet, it's fun to see the returning mechanic in episode 4 as well. That's some good fan service. But the new mechanic that Apollo has with with finding habits and stuff, while it is pretty cool, I think it wasn't implemented all that great. It's great how they made the mechanic tie into the story with the bracelet. But I don't know. It would have made the game a lot harder, but at the same time, it would have been far cooler to have the bracelet always be on, so it was always just up to your intuition, and you had to pay more attention to the animation. In the end, when I first was introduced to the mechanic, I was like, oh, you're gonna pay more attention to the animations now. But then when I learned it's just the bracelet you had to pay attention, I was like, oh, then I guess I don't have to pay attention to the animation anymore again still. And ultimately, once again, the animations are just there once again for show. But yeah, overall, solid game, great game, good game, would play again. 10 out of 11. Yeah, that's it. Goodbye.